And it is a Tuesday, the 23rd of February 2021, and this is the Morning Express right here on Starsat channel 500 and also on Facebook. We are Galaxy Universal Network live in Johannesburg from our Midrand studios. Good morning, South Africa and everyone on the African continent. I am Mbele, and on that note, let us take a look at our 60 minutes rundown of today's headlines and news. And we take a look at the Zondo Commission wants a Zuma behind bars. And D8 lay ethics complaint against Mbele. And Sokofatso Pule's former lover charged with murder. And obviously, Pirtes takes center stage at the Zondo Commission. And that is the big stories that we are covering this morning. And today we'll also dedicate a few minutes of the show to our matriculant learners, the class of 2020. We're talking to Donald LUNAGA, TSHEPISO, MALEMA, and obviously a parent and a child that really did so well, obtained a few distinctions within their subjects. So we'll be conversing with them later on right here on the Morning Express. Look out for that as we take a look at our leading story this morning. And the Zondo Commission has filed papers in the Constitutional Court urging that former President Zuma should be given a 2-year jail sentence. And Zuma has twice failed to appear before the Commission investigating allegations of state capture. And the Constitutional Court has also been asked to make a court order against Zuma. And former President Jacob Zuma could still avoid jail time for defying the Constitutional Court's order that he give evidence before the state capture inquiry. And if he testifies at the Commission and in an affidavit filed at the country's highest court yesterday afternoon, the inquiry Secretary Professor Itumeleng Musala stated that although the Commission wanted Zuma to be sentenced for 2 years behind bars for multiple acts of miscontempt, he also suggested that the court may suspend the sentence on conditions that he appears before the Commission to give evidence. And Zuma would also need to submit 2 affidavits that Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo ordered him to provide to the inquiry in relation to his involvement in the affairs of Eskom and Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa.
In the result, the following order is made. 1. The application for direct access is granted. 2. Advocate Vuyani Ngalwana SC is not admitted as amicus curiae. 3. The Council for the Advancement of the South African Constitution and the Helen Suzman Foundation are admitted as amici curiae. 4. Mr. Jacob Zuma is ordered to obey all summonses and directives lawfully issued by the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into allegations of state capture, corruption, and fraud in the public sector, including organs of state. 5. Mr. Jacob Zuma is directed to appear and give evidence before the Commission on dates determined by it. 6. It is declared that Mr. Jacob Zuma does not have a right to remain silent in proceedings before the Commission. 7. It is declared that Mr. Jacob Zuma is entitled to all privileges under Section 3 sub 4 of the Commissions Act, including the privilege against self-incrimination. 8. Mr. Jacob Zuma must pay the Commission's costs in this court, including costs of 2 counsel. I hand down the judgment.
And shortly after the Constitutional Court gave an unanimous judgment against him, Zuma publicly stated that he would defy the ruling for him to appear and answer questions about his 9 year in office. And just as he has defined the unjust apartheid government and insisted he was prepared to go to jail. And true to his word, Zuma did not obey the inquiry summons issued for him to appear on the 15th of February.
The Commission has not treated Mr. Zuma unfairly at all. He has no valid or sound reason for not appearing before the Commission. The Commission has taken note that in this type of situation, the law makes provision that it may apply for what is called, it may institute what is called contempt of court proceedings. The Commission will do so. What that entails is that the Commission will make an application to the Constitutional Court, which is the court that made the order that Mr. Zuma has defied, and seek an order that Mr. Zuma is guilty of contempt of court, and if the Constitutional Court reaches that conclusion, then it is in its discretion what to do. One of the things it can do is to impose a term of imprisonment on Mr. Zuma. Another would be for it to impose a fine. The Commission will approach the Constitutional Court and ask it to impose a term of imprisonment on Mr. Zuma if it finds that he is guilty of contempt of court. It will be up to the court what it considers appropriate, but that is what the Commission's position is.
And Musala urges that the former president's conduct poses a serious threat to the rule of law. And the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation became the latest to lambast Jacob Zuma for his refusal to testify at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry. And the foundation said the former president Zuma's relentless defiance showed that he was simply not interested in the rule of public accountability and justice. In a statement, the foundation said that the rule of law should apply to Zuma as it would to any South African, and failure to do so should also set a dangerous precedent and undermine the country's constitutional democracy. Numerous witnesses at the Zondo Commission have implicated Zuma in state capture, and the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation said that he must respond to these allegations. And Zuma, who has accused the Commission Chair Raymond Zondo of biasness, has said that he did not fear going to jail. And yesterday, the former president, facing numerous charges on corruption, money laundering, slammed the country's judicial of being soft-handed.
Today, if I commit a crime, the laws of this country, if I kill somebody in front of all of you, the laws of this country says, you can't say this man is being arrested, charged because he has killed a man. He's killed a person, rather. The law says, no, you must say, no. We suspect that this man killed this person. That's a softiness of the law.
And the Democratic Alliance Chief Whip Natasha Mazzone says Begicele must pay back state funds if his visit to Nkandla was not in his capacity as police minister. And last week, Cele visited former President Jacob Zuma at his homestead in KwaZulu-Natal. And the three-hour meeting comes at a time when Zuma faces the possibility of jail time over his defiance of a constitutional court order to appear before the state capture inquiry. And Cele said his visit to Nkandla was to hear Zuma's concerns. As he said, they spoke about several things, including things that they are prevailing. And speaking during an official handover of 50 R55 high-performance vehicles to police at the weekend, Cele said that would account to Parliament for the visit if he is called to do so.
I don't know if he has been arrested, and maybe he knows what I do not know. So far, I did not visit a person that has been arrested for not appearing in the commission. That's one. But other thing is because maybe this is a high profile. There are many cases where we make the visit if you can make a contribution to prevent the thing to happen before it happens and becomes a disaster, if it does become a disaster. We still have the Marikanas. Many people, they believe that many things would have been done before that could have happened. So it was on that score to speak to the former president, to raise some concerns that were raised, to hear his concern and see where to take those concerns forward, for both as a responsible citizen of the country, but as a person that have extra responsibility, that if things can be prevented is always much better than the react after those things have happened. The state cars, as long as the minister, even when we campaign, we are allowed to use these state cars. So I would not have then taken an Uber to go and see the former president. So I took the cars that are there, and really several things were spoken. And as I've said, it was a broader kind of discussion with the aim, if we can find a solution before maybe those other times where you find yourself crossing the line, you find yourself having a problem that you could have managed to stop. It was that kind of.
And also moving on to sad news right here on the Morning Express, the boyfriend of murdered Chigofatso Pule has now been officially charged in court with her murder. And Ntutuko Ntokozo Shoba appeared briefly in the Roodepoort Magistrates Court on Monday. And Pule was 8 months pregnant when she was killed last June, and her body was found hanging from a tree in Durban Deep. And she was found with multiple stab wounds last week. Muzikayise Malapela, the man accused for killing Pule, entered into a deal with the state and pled guilty to the charges. And also a case was also postponed to the 1st of March for a formal bail application. And Malapane said Shoba ordered a hit on Pule because he did not want his wife to know that she was pregnant. And former Minister Dipuo Peters said she was aware that the locomotives brought for the passenger rail agency of South Africa during Lucky Modana's tenure was too tall. And Peters has been testifying at the State Capture Commission on Monday.
Chairperson, I think if I have to start off from the statement that was issued by my legal representative with regard to my preparedness and readiness to cooperate and work with the Commission to be able to unravel some of the challenges that have been raised with regard to PRASA. I should, through you, Chairperson, probably start by indicating that I was deployed to PRASA by former President Zuma on the 9th of July 2013. It was exactly on a Monday like this. And I had the opportunity to appraise myself with the workings of all the entities, 12 of them, and 2 councils. The one is called the Licensing Council and the Regulating Councils that deals with aviation. And Chairperson, I would want to put before the Commission that PRASA, being as big as it is, was one of the biggest actually because of the importance of the service that it was providing to the people of South Africa. It is not easy to be a mass carrier. And PRASA had to transport commuters who were going to work, going to look for work, and at the same time transport students who were going to school, some people who are new qualified people who went to look for jobs. So it was a very important institution that I found under the stable, under transport. When I arrived in transport, Chairperson, transport was regarded as a family. And taking into consideration the challenges that you would find in a family, I then said to the team of men and women that we were working.
And Pieter's on Monday defended ex-President Jacob Zuma over allegations by former passenger rail agency of South Africa board chairperson Popo Molefe. She said she believed Montana was bluffing when he resigned as CEO, and that's why he was fighting to be reinstated. And this after Molefe in March 2020 claimed at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry that Zuma had lobbied for Lucky Montana to be returned as PRASA boss in a meeting that took place on August 2015, a month after Montana had resigned. And according to Molefe, at that meeting, in which Pieter's was amongst those in attendance, Zuma had pushed for the board to allow Montana back to the PRASA despite him quitting on his own accord. But Pieter's, giving her own version to the Zondo Commission, said Zuma did none of that, of which was mentioned by Molefe.
Yes, there was a meeting on the 20th. And at that meeting, I never got the impression that there is a conscious decision by President Zuma that Lucky Montana or Mr. Lucky Montana must return to his position, which he had resigned from. In Lucky Montana's input in that meeting, he made a statement which might have given Mr. Molefe an impression that probably somewhere where I was not part of, there might have been a discussion to the fact that Lucky will come back, because in his reply to what Mr. Molefe had said, he then said, if I go back, which was something that I dispelled in that particular meeting.
Who expressed a wish to return to PRASA during a meeting during the meeting in question, and the meeting was convened by the minister in the presidency, Jeff Radebe, after public spots between Molefe and Montana after the letter had left PRASA. And Molefe testified last year that the 8-hour-long meeting, Zuma had instructed that PRASA board to reinstate Montana because of his experience in the sector.
Have thought that it was not the right thing to appoint a group CEO at that time.
I did say to Mr. Molefe that at that particular moment, we are not ready to conclude on this process of appointing the group CEO. In the same paragraph, Chairperson, he gives an indication of the work that they are doing and also the workshops that they are convening. And like I said earlier on, yes, with hindsight, I could have been wrong at that particular time.
The board had already undergone a lengthy recruitment process to fill the CEO position, and earlier Peters denied playing any role in the alleged state capture project under her previous portfolio.
I have never been influenced by anybody to either determine tenders. Both Mr. Molefe and later on probably Mr. Montana would indicate that I have never ever participated in processes, in tenders, in any of their establishments or even in PRASA itself. And Chairperson, I would also want to vouch that the 12 entities that I spoke to can also vouch.
And also, Democratic Alliance MP Baxolile Nodada has accused the Department of Basic Education of attempting to bury the truth of their failures by releasing what he labeled as an incorrect matric results, claiming that the real matric pass rate is 44.1%. And Nodada said that the serious concerns plaguing of the South African basic education system will never be addressed if the department continuously tries concealing the truth, adding that the pass rate is disappointing and also of the co-hit nature of 2020 academic year. And according to the Department of Basic Education and Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga, the matric pass rate of 2020 is 76.2%. In a statement released on Monday, Nodada continues to say that the Democratic Alliance congratulates every matric for the class of 2020 who have passed after the incredible difficult year they had, and also commemorates with those who were not as successful this time around. And according to Nodada, the real matric pass rate is 44.1%, calculated by comparing the number of learners who enrolled in 2018, which was 997,872, to the number that wrote, which is also 578,468, and past matrics in 2020 was 440,702 learners. And additionally, Nodada also claimed that unless the minister and the department urgently engage with stakeholders in order to address these failures, the true matric pass rate will plummet to also to determine the children of all their future endeavors. And that was exactly what the Democratic Alliance had to say.
It is without doubt that the 2020 academic year will be remembered as the year that not only presented major health challenges, but a year that, that the entire world was gulfed by novel COVID-19 pandemic, and government with its partner departments and its strategic partners worked very hard to strike a balance between saving lives and saving the year of 2020. We heard one of the learners says he was worried about having to repeat matric. Fellow South Africans, the Council of Education Ministers has approved sector priorities that lay the foundation for quality education, as well as contribute in providing permanent solutions to the architecture of the education and training system of our country once and for all. And these priorities inter alia include improving foundational skills in numeracy and literacy, which should be underpinned by a reading revolution, and ramping up early childhood development, which includes the urgent implementation of a 2-year ECD before grade 1, and therefore we have to migrate the 0 to 4-year-olds from the Department of Social Development to Basic Education. And
the Department of Basic Education admitted that the coronavirus pandemic had a huge effect on the class of 2020.
Which is Southern and Eastern African Consortium for Monitoring Quality Education, which works on benchmarking grade 6. And we can say in all these international benchmark assessment studies, we have been proving or providing evidence that our basic education system is definitely on the rise. It is a system on the rise. So we are proud to announce, for instance, that last year, with the 2020 team, because we received the 2020 team's results last year, and in South Africa, we participated in these benchmark studies and again pointed towards an upward trajectory in the past 11 years. So the latest team's results of 2019 explained in the context of many forms of inequalities, an education system that continues to improve on its achievements and continues to bridge gaps on disciplinary knowledge and educational outcomes. The team's 2019 results again confirm a steady increase in the percentage of grade 5 learners, because that's what it assesses. And just between 2003 and 2019, as a country, we've increased our points from 104 points in maths and 102 points in science. So I want to hear about what we are here for, National Senior Certificate, so I'm getting there. So last year, Program Director, during my budget vote on basic education, we did remind the nation that we are increasingly prioritize interventions, improvements development programs and policies that target to improve quality of learning and teaching, and implementing accountability systems to ensure that the quality outcomes are achieved right through the basic education.
And the minister also revealed the following.
To support. But I'm very happy that indeed, in the midst of all the difficulties, we're able to stay at 76.2%, and as I said, with more quality passes this year. In terms of bachelors, this year we are at 36.4 compared to 36.9 in 2019. So the difference is 0.4% in terms of the bachelor passes. 0.5 or 0.5 years. But I'm told, which I am not using here, that there are more learners, if you look at numbers, who got bachelors, but I normally don't combine percentage and numbers. So what helps you is, of the 100 that had written, how many passed? And again, in terms of diplomas, we got 26% of our learners getting diplomas. We had 13.7 number of our learners getting your higher certificate. And this other one also, which I don't want to get the certificate of the ones who get national senior certificate, Baba Madota score, it's 0.01%. So only 61 of them will have been passed at your national senior certificate, 0.01%. So we want to say 1,735 distinctions we had this year, which is an increase of 13.1% from the distinctions that we had achieved in 2019. So there's an increase in terms of distinctions. And we must commend the following provinces that they contributed immensely towards the distinctions: KZN, Gauteng, Western Cape, Eastern Cape, and Limpopo. That Limpopo gives us very good results in the.
And also taking a look at the department's Director General Matanzima Mweli said the class of 2020 had an 88.2% class attendance amid lockdown challenges. And Mweli was speaking during a technical briefing ahead of the national MATRIC results announcement on Monday afternoon.
You have proven that performance cannot be based on overall pass rate only. There are many dimensions to performance, and you have demonstrated that, and we are eternally grateful. We are very proud of you, as the minister said. The minister likes saying, the world is your oyster. We have prepared you for 12 years, and we are proud to release you to the world. Let's put our hands together for the class of 22. And in the same vein, as the minister has conveyed already, our unsung heroes and heroines are our teachers. Men and women who had, in carrying out this task, for not thanking our president, minister. I remember that day when we went to present to the National Coronavirus Command Council, and subsequent to that, we went to cabinet. When the whole nation was divided over the reopening of schools, cabinet and the president stood together and gave us very clear instructions that you are going to reopen schools provided that you save lives and you save the academic year. We are eternally grateful to the leadership of our president and our cabinet. We are led exceptionally well in our country. Let's put our heads together for the president. And lastly, Minister, I want to thank all the officials, especially the senior managers also from the department, the media, the organizing team. Mr. Mhlanga, you're doing very well, but you bring some of the songs too early, man. They were supposed to have been processed through a submission. You missed, processing these things through the submission and then before presenting them to the public. Otherwise, thank you very much. I want to thank our parents. Thank you for displaying your confidence in us. And again, thank our teachers for a wonderful job. Thank you very much, and thank to one and all. Thank you.
With more news and updates right here on the Morning Express after this.
Make massive moves.
Picture perfect, you don't need no filter. Another one.
Make massive moves with Starsat. Make massive moves.
Bible is human and divine.
It's important for us to remember.
And I'm part of God's story.
Yeah, mama, mama, hey.
God is sealing you.
God says what he means, and he means what he says. God is good.
I am very grateful to God. I am healed. Amen.
Make massive moves with Starsat. Make massive moves.
The space race has already started.
Russia had got the first object into space.
The coast is as wild today as it was when Europeans settled the continent.
Enormous beasts with enormous thirst. The teams are primed and ready.
They got the first animal into space, and they got the first person.
Time to see what the boys can do.
Make massive moves with Starsat. Make massive moves.
Isn't that your daughter's bib? But the truth is, I feel like Arabella's always with me.
Don't you ever forget this man's face. He killed your brother.
Don't shoot. Please don't shoot. Don't shoot.
Make massive moves with Starsat.
I want you to eat healthy food because it's delicious.
Make massive moves.
Would you like another one?
I love it. I love this soup. This is amazing. The grits are so creamy. Oh.
I take pride in my grits.
So flavorful.
I think that looks wonderful.
Yeah.
It's so incredible.
Make massive moves with Starsat. Make massive moves.
Wow! Let's go. Come on, we can be back by morning.
Woogie! Who are you?
I'm the boss.
Really?
Really?
Yeah! Awesome! Totally! Yeehaw! Very funny.
Make massive moves with Starsat. Make massive moves.
You're the best fighter in China.
Give me the Emperor's sword, and I'll spare your life.
Shisha sector's gone too far.
Make massive moves with Starsat. Make massive moves.
How can you say that?
That is what it is.
Your mother eloped with someone else.
I just think this is such a genius idea. I think it's amazing.
I can be happy?
It's inside you. It's inside of all of us.
It's about cooking smart that are nutritious and delicious.
President Trump acknowledging the coronavirus death toll could be significantly higher.
You don't want to do this.
There is nothing you can take.
Surviving roommates scared.
The heavyweights arrive.
Inside finds Pachulia, blocked by Jane.
This is the will of God.
Make massive moves with Starsat. Make massive moves.
There isn't any time to waste then.
can't save everyone in this war.
One moment, that's all we got.
You're locked in here with me. Make massive moves with Starsat.
Anger boils over in El Dorado Park.
Make massive moves.
Corruption allegations have hit too close to the office of the president.
America is crying out for leadership.
I'm the president and you're fake news.
Donald Trump has already started his attacks.
It is clear from the development of the disease.
But it's still the biggest annual decline in 100 years.
Make massive moves with Starsat.
This is just the beginning.
Make massive moves.
Get out! Get out of this place!
I love you. Do you love me?
Yes.
I like this.
Someone stole from me yesterday.
It was not my fault now. Eh?
Leave me or I blast your head!
No, don't shoot, sir, please! Please don't kill us. I'll give you anything you want.
Make massive moves with Starsat.
And welcome back from the ad break. You're still watching Morning Express right on Galaxy Universal Network. As we all know, the hype of today is all about the matriculant results, and we get to celebrate Donald Langa from Eketsang Secondary School, who obtained 2 distinctions in mathematics and business studies, and also getting a bachelor's pass. And also on the line, I get to be joined by TSHEPISO MALEMA, who also obtained a distinction in CAT studies, also from Ivory Park Secondary. And on the line, I also get to be joined by someone that will talk to them later on. But good morning, gents. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having us on the show. Thank you, Mbele.
Thank you very much. Well, gentlemen, I have someone on the line that wants to talk to you. Well, I'll give it away to the one, the only, your mentor, Mr. Emmanuel BONOKO, to engage with you guys and speak to you guys at this point. Good morning, Mr. Emmanuel BONOKO.
Good morning, the boys. They did. So proud. I say. Yeah, I'm so proud of you. Hey, I'm so proud of you. And we had faith in you. We knew very well that you guys, you're going to deliver. You're going to inspire so many young people that are coming after you. We are so proud. Hey, we are so proud. Well done. Thank you so much. Yeah, well done. I mean, it was not an easy year for you, but you're able to produce distinctions. I mean, Donald, you got 2 distinctions. TSHEPISO, you did well also with 1 distinction, but above all, you guys were able to produce incredible results. So we are definitely confident that your future is quite bright. Well done.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. BONOKO. I think let me ask you a question before we let you go, because we do know you're a busy man, Mr. Emmanuel BONOKO. What inspired you to mentor these 2 boys and the many other mentees you have throughout South Africa?
You know what? I don't want to take any credit. Also, they know me very well that I'm very teachable. Also, I learn a lot from them. You know, I don't believe in this. That is one way as a mentor. They can learn from me. Also, I'm learning a lot from them. I look at what TSHEPISO is doing, you know. As an entrepreneur, he got so much that he wants to explore. I look at Donald also, his passion, his drive. So for me, I can say also I'm learning a lot from them. And also, despite the struggles they've been through, they're still able to, you know, produce such great results. So for me, I'll say, also, I'm learning a lot from them, so it's give and take. It's not about me.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel BONOKO, for surprising the boys. They had no idea you're going to join me today on the show, and just to hear that you are proud of them must be very comforting to the heart and soul, because you've been a mentor, a father figure, a brother, a colleague to them. So thank you very much, Emmanuel BONOKO, for the work that you do in South Africa, throughout the continent, in Nigeria, in Congo, with the business that you own. So thank you very much for the work that you continuously do for our young boys and girls.
Thank you so much, and I owe them lunch. TSHEPISO and Donald, when I'm back in Joburg, definitely I'll arrange lunch for you guys. Yeah.
Certainly. But let me talk to the...
I'll touch base soon, eh? Okay. Yes, thank you.
Certainly. Well, as we let go of Mr. BONOKO at this point, let me talk to the 2 boys. We talked to Donald Langa and TSHEPISO MALEMA. Boys, how was it? How's the journey? Now you've received your results. We spoke yesterday, and you're very anxious, not very wary of everything. The excitement was not there, but listening to the tone of voice today is really excitement. How does it feel?
Should I go first, Kat?
Yes, you may. Yes, you may.
Okay. For me, it's I'm very ecstatic, but I felt like I could have done better. But nevertheless, it was a hard year, but I managed, to prevail. So I'm grateful. I feel ecstatic, I feel exuberant, yeah.
Quite beautiful. Well, TSHEPISO, Malema, how does it feel to know that you've passed your matric? It's been a journey and a half in high school and primary school, and the parents really spending a lot of money to make sure that you get to this point and so that you get to go to university if you will be going. But how's this journey at this point?
Well, I'm so super excited, and I just like to say that it wasn't easy at all. It wasn't like as we know that 2020 wasn't an easy year, and like I've overcame a lot of challenges like throughout the year. I had to spend about 4 months like without electricity here where I live, and just standing with a candle, and like as I look back, my heart just gets like super excited,
Definitely. Well, let me talk to you boys. I mean, it's unfortunate, Malema, that you do mention that you were without electricity for 4 months of the time that we were during the lockdown. You were not going to school, but you made means to obtain the distinction. I can only imagine if circumstances did allow for different situations where you could have done and how much you could have done more within your studies. But looking at that, what is the future looking like? I mean, for this year, that is university part of the prospect, Donald Langa?
Yeah, it is, definitely. But then I'm still waiting for that important message, permanent admission. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Same applies. Like I'm hoping to be enrolled at the University of Pretoria to study computer sciences.
Oh, wow. And for you, Donald, do you have any course that you might have taken or really looking forward to doing in university?
Yeah, I'll be maybe one of the two between Free State University and UJ. So I'll be doing teaching there. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you very much to you, gentlemen. Certainly, I am proud of you. South Africa is proud of you. And I do know that those that are family, friends, your teachers are absolutely proud of the work that you've put in during such a very unprecedented year being 2020. Congratulations to the class of 2020.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Quite a pleasure. Well, South Africa, we continue this week to celebrate the big milestones of our matriculants throughout our country. In South Africa, it's quite a big one, a big milestone to be celebrated and to be looked at. But at this point, right here on the Morning Express, we take a quick breather. We'll be back after this.
Make massive moves.
Picture perfect, you don't need no filter. Another one.
Make massive moves with Starsat. Make massive moves.
Bible is human and divine.
It's important for us to remember.
And I'm part of God's story.
Yeah, mama, hey.
God is healing you.
God says what he means, and he means what he says. God is good.
I am very grateful to God. I am healed. Amen.
Make massive moves with Starsat. Make massive moves.
The space race has already started.
Russia had got the first object into space.
The coast is as wild today as it was when Europeans settled the continent.
Enormous beasts with enormous thirst. The teens are primed and ready.
They got the first animal into space, and they got the first person.
Time to see what the boys can do.
Make massive moves with Starsat.
And also welcome back from the ad break as we continue with more news and updates right here on the Morning Express. As we take a look at President Cyril Ramaphosa joined millions of South Africans to extend their sincere condolences to the presidential spokesperson, Ms. Kusela Digo, on the passing of her husband, senior traditional leader Thandi Sizwe Digo of the Amabhaca in the Eastern Cape, and Nkosi Matsikane passed away on Sunday, the 21st of February 2021, following a brief illness. In a statement from the presidency, it is said that the president said his thoughts are with Ms. Diko and her family, and also the queen of the Diko and Queen Nolwandle Sangwai, and as well as friends and associates of the late Nkosi and the Amabhaca more broadly. And Amabhaca Kingdom has described the passing of the chief as shocking and painful. And the chief was married to President Cyril Ramaphosa's spokesperson Khusela Diko, who died on Sunday afternoon in the Eastern Cape, in the Eastern London hospital after a short illness, and was thus into a spotlight last year, July, due to allegations of conflict of interest over him being awarded a multi-million rand personal protective equipment tender from the Gauteng Health Department. Certainly, with more news and updates right here on the Morning Express, it is really one sad story to look at, and to also know that millions of South Africans and within the presidency are really sending their heartfelt condolences to the Diko family. And we take a look at our next story. The National Education, Health and Allied Workers Union has strongly defended the election of Zingi Swalosi as president of the COSATU following social media accusations. Her appointment was solely because she is a woman, and the union's reaction came after a video was circulated on social media in which Losi made comments about fraud and corruption charges against the ANC Secretary General Ace Magashule. In the video, she answered a question from a journalist. She said no one was above the law, and anyone found to have transgressed laws of the country had to be held accountable regardless of the position they have occupied. And according to Nihal, the video footage and comments were made on November 28th last year, a few days after Magashule's initial appearance in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court. And how General Secretary Zola has questioned the reasons for the resurfacing of the old video, and also Sipeta refuted that the unfounded claims that the president was elected because she is a woman, saying that Losi has been championing workers' struggles for years and has dedicated her entire life and to end all forms of exploitation and unsafe working conditions. And he said Losi's statement in November last year focused mainly on the attack on collective bargaining led by government, and also said that the union will continue to wage the relentless war against the government, including defending collective bargaining, which did not come from a silver platter. And also we take a look at our African stories making headlines this morning. Kenya is battling some of the worst locusts in decades, but startup The Bug Picture hopes to transform the pets into profits and bring hope to the hopeless, and whose crops and livelihoods are being destroyed by the insects. And unusual weather patterns, and rather by climate change, have created an ideal condition for surging locust numbers, which also have destroyed crops and grazing grounds across East Africa and also the Horn. And also scientists say warmer seas are rather creating more rain, awakening dormant eggs, and also cyclones that are depend on swans and getting stronger and more frequent during the African continent. And that is certainly one of the bad news that we are looking at right here on the Morning Express. With all those news and updates, and kidnappers have released 53 people, including women and children they seized on a bus in Nigeria. And local authorities said, while dozens of others taken from a school in a separate incident are still missing. And criminal gangs known locally as bandists in the northwest and central Nigeria have rather scaled up attacks in recent years, kidnapping, raping, and also really taking the children and women within the country. And a gang last week seized 53 people, including 20 women and 9 children, who were traveling on the state-owned bus in Kundu village in Nigeria State.
Jesus Christ. This is bloody. Dead bodies. Shit.
And also, gunmen last week killed 10 people and abducted at least 23 others in 2 separate attacks in the state. And also, the bandists are known to hide in camps in Rugu Forest in the strangles of the Samafari within Gundu and Nigeria states. Despite the deployment of troops, deadly attack persists, and the gangs are largely driven by financial motives and have no known ideological learnings. But there are growing concerns that they are being infiltrated by the jihadists from the northern east, waging the decade-old insurgency to establish all things happening within the state. And we also take a look at our next story. And being called for the grounding of 128 of its 777 planes across the world on Sunday, as United States regulators investigated the United Airlines flight with those engines caught fire and fell apart over the suburban American community. And the United Asian and Japanese, 2 main airlines, confirmed they had already suspended operations of 63 planes fitted with the same family of engine, which also skated over on Saturday. And the U.S. National Transportation and Safety Board is also investigating the incident, in which no one was hurt in. And also, Boeing warned the similarly fitted planes should also take out of service until all the Aviation Authority had determined an inspection procedure. And the Japanese airline and Nippon Airways said they had respectively grounded 13 and 19 planes using the PW4000 engines, but had avoided flight cancellation by using other aircrafts. And those are certainly the stories and updates that we have right here on the Morning Express. But let us take a look at what really happened. And the Rangers manager, Stephen, has answered the big question surrounding Bongani Zungu's future after the player was caught breaching COVID-19 protocols in Scotland. And the South African midfielder was recently amongst 5 Rangers players who were caught partying late Sunday morning. And Action admitted that to being heavily disappointed by these acts. And Zungu, 28 years of age, joined the Scottish champions on a loan from Amiens, and also at the beginning of the season, with the hope to securing a permanent move to the club.
Well, I think first and foremost we have to acknowledge that 5 of our players have, been involved in a breach of the COVID regulations, which from the top of the club to the bottom we're all really disappointed in. That will be dealt with internally. The players will be fined, and we are in dialogue with the SFA and the government moving forward to find the solution in terms of them boys. They've been removed from the club and the squad for now on a short-time basis while they isolate, and I'll sit down with all them boys face to face once we're allowed to do so.
Do you feel the situation is now resolved to a satisfactory conclusion?
Well, we'll certainly move forward from it. I think we're at a real critical stage in terms of the games coming up and where we are as a club. It won't affect us as a group. I've been absolutely delighted with the group in terms of their application. I feel personally let down by recent events, but I'm trying to move forward and focus on the important things, which is to prepare the team ready for a huge game against Antwerp. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to the game. So the players, they've trained extremely well going into this game, and it's important we focus on the important things, which is you know, the games that are in front of us.
Are you able to confirm the 5 players involved?
Yes, Bagani Zungu is involved. Nathan Patterson, Calvin Bassey, Dapo, who is obviously part of the academy on loan at Queen of the South at the moment, and a young goalie who is an academy player but has spent some time around the first team as well, Brian Kinnear.
It's on to Antwerp then, as you say. How have the boys prepared for that fixture? Really
well. The atmosphere in the group is outstanding at the moment, playing with belief and confidence. It's a fixture that we respect because of the opposition. They're doing really well in their league domestically. They've had some really impressive results themselves this season, so it's an exciting one, and it will be over the 2 legs, and you know, it's one we're really looking forward to. The boys are excited and we want to bounce over to Belgium and give a real good account of ourselves and make the supporters proud, because we've let them down in the last few days, and you know, we want to get them thinking about football again, and hopefully we can reward them with a positive result and set Ibrox up for next week.
And on that game, how is the health of the squad going into it?
Well, obviously the boys mentioned won't be involved. We've got some real good news in terms of obviously having Alfredo and Kamar back available. Bring a lot of firepower to the squad and the group. Really looking forward to having them back for this fixture. And you know, we've seen recent rumours that James is carrying a niggle, which is fake news.
And certainly, well, from Galaxy News, from the Morning Express desk, I am Mbele. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.